For this sequence, you need a folded blanket, a yoga strap, and possibly a couple of blocks. Lie on your back with your belt and blocks nearby and rest your head on a folded blanket. Bring the soles of your feet together, letting your knees fall to each side. If this causes discomfort in your inner thighs, I suggest placing a block or folded blanket under each leg. For this passive warm-up sequence, your goal is to minimize the sensations in large surface muscles, allowing blood to warm deep tissue. Close your eyes, relax your arms at your sides, feeling the ebb and flow of your breath resonate through your body. By placing your body in this passive pose, reclining cobbler's pose, you're setting yourself up to access deep connective tissue of the hip joints and lower spine, circulating nutrient-rich blood into core tissues. Linger here for several cycles of conscious breathing to give time for the heat of good circulation to penetrate the core and warm your body from the inside out. Let your breath, especially the out-breath, release your belly organs into the back body. Take that image and sensation further by directing your attention to the inner hips and thighs where you may feel some muscular resistance. Imagine your lungs right there, where the discomfort is, and you may actually be able to feel a slight expansion on the breath in, and a release on the breath out, dropping your thigh bones into the outer leg, leaving a sense of greater depth and even width in your hips. Though an image, this exercise is deeply effective, further nourishing connective tissue that is the source of flexibility. Using your hands if you wish, bring your knees together and with a lingering exhalation, hug your knees to your chest. Breathing in, extend your right leg to the ceiling. Breathing out, lower it to the floor and relax it. Take your belt and loop it around the bottom of your left foot, holding the belt with both hands. As you breathe in, extend your left leg toward the ceiling. As you breathe out, relax the knee, just slightly, but enough to allow the large external muscles of the upper leg to soften. Close your eyes to internalize your focus and feel the rhythm of your breathing reverberate through your body, softening the surface and awakening the core. You may not be able to feel the warmth and vitality flowing through your joints, but you'll notice it later in the form of increased flexibility and fewer injuries if you incorporate this style of warming up into your active practice. Resist the urge to straighten your legs. A good yoga practice relies on undoing as much as doing, surrender as much as effort. Hold your belt in your left hand, placing your right arm on the floor at shoulder height, palm up. Press the right hip into the floor as you inhale and lower your leg halfway to the floor. It takes time for the blood to nourish your joints. So linger here, breathing in and out gently. On your next inhalation, bring your leg back up and breathing out. Bend your right knee, placing the foot on the floor. Slip the belt off your left foot and bend your left knee, resting your left foot on the right knee. Each of these movements works a different area of the hips, resulting in increased flexibility over time. Again, linger. dropping your left knee toward the floor, allowing the deep flow to do its work. Breathing in, uncross your legs, and breathing out, hug your knees to your chest. Exhale. Extend the left leg up, and breathing out, lower the leg to the floor and relax it. Loop the belt around your right foot, holding the belt with both hands. With the left leg relaxed, breathe in and extend your right leg. Breathing out, backing off until your knee is just slightly less than straight, so that you are close to the edge of your range of motion, but not quite there. Close your eyes and direct your attention to your right hip. Imagine you're breathing in your hip, as though your lungs are there. The value of this deep muscle warmer comes in taking your time and keeping the surface as soft as possible. Hold your belt with your right hand, placing your left arm on the floor at shoulder height. Breathe in, swing your leg to the right, and breathing out, lower it halfway to the floor, no further than you can take it without your left hip lifting even slightly off the ground. Also, if you cannot steady your breath, raise your legs slightly. Coordinating a steady breath and movement is essential. Breathe in as you bend your left knee, foot to floor. Slip the belt off your foot and breathing out, bend your right knee, resting the foot on the top of the left knee. Though this exercise is passive, it's mindful. Breathe in as you uncross your legs and breathing out, hug your knees to your chest. Finish your out breath. If you've been using blocks, move them out of your way. Bring your arms to the floor at shoulder height, palms up. Breathe in, rolling to the right. Let your knees and feet fall to the floor, bringing your left arm across your chest, resting it on your right arm. Feel how nice and wide your back body is. Lower back ribs expand and release like gills. Keep your back and shoulder blades wide as you breathe in, extending your left arm to the ceiling. As you breathe out, lower it back down again. Coordinate breath and movement. Following the rhythm of your breath, inhale as you raise your left arm. This time, as you breathe out, follow the hand with your gaze. Reach out to the left until your arm is halfway to the floor. Breathe into your back ribs and keep your shoulder blades wide. Reach strongly to the left. Breathe in, raise the arm, and breathing out, bring it all the way over to the right arm again. When you're ready, breathing in, listen to the breath, raise the arm. As you breathe out, reach to the left again, following the hand with your eyes. Stop when your hand is halfway to the floor. On your next breath out, pull your left side ribs and shoulder blade toward the floor to lower your shoulder and warm your upper back muscles. Steady breathing. Now, as you breathe in, roll onto your back, and breathing out, hug your knees in. Notice how the pressure of your thighs on your abdomen increases the volume of the out-breath. Other side. Inhale, roll to the left. Exhaling, your legs and feet fall to the floor, and bring your right arm up and all the way over to your left arm or hand. Just relax. Each out-breath coaxes the belly organs to sink into the back body. Keeping the shoulder blades wide, breathe in, raising your arm toward the ceiling. Breathing out, lower it back down. Continue to coordinate breath and movement as at your own pace you breathe in and raise your right arm, timing movement to breath. As you exhale, follow the hand with your gaze, reaching strongly to the right and bringing your arm halfway to the floor. Breathe in as you bring your arm up. Breathe out, lower it to the left arm again. It's fine to take a breath or two before continuing. When you're ready, one more time. Inhale, raise the arm, follow the hand with your gaze. Breathe out, reach to the right until your arm is again halfway to the floor. If you're able to press the right shoulder and side ribs down, lower your arm as well. Continue to let the belly organs fall toward the spine. That's a release, not a sucking in of the stomach. Now inhale, roll onto your back. Roll all the way to your right and sit up in a simple crossed-legged position. Stand at the end of your mat, feet together, mountain pose, arms at your sides. Focus on your breathing, mouth closed, breath steady and confident in and out, exhalations and inhalations even, coaxing a gentle, ocean-like sound from the base of your throat. This sound will be your guide. Breathe in, sweep your arms overhead. Exhale, bring your palms together, head back, gaze between your hands. Inhale, fold from the hips, flat back as you stretch forward, and exhale, relax your arms and torso, hanging toward the floor, standing forward bend. Place your fingertips on the floor by your feet, and as you breathe in, open and lift your chest. Gaze slightly forward. Bend your knees, and breathe in, step your right foot back, exhaling to a lunge, left heel down. Place your palms on the floor, chest broad. Breathe in, step your left foot beside your right, and come down to your knees. Place your knees a couple of inches behind your hips, toes under, table pose. With your head at shoulder height and your shoulders above your wrists, flatten your back by elongating your spine from your lower ribs to your tailbone, and curl your tail slightly toward the floor. Can you feel how this pulls your abdomen toward your spine, thus supporting your lower back? Ideally, your lower back becomes as flat as a tabletop. Squeeze your elbows to your sides. Now, press down with your hands and feet, and inhaling, scoop your chest down and forward along the floor, sliding through your arms and up to upward-facing dog pose, straightening your elbows. Press your feet into the floor and straighten your knees. Pull your shoulder blades back and breathe steadily from the throat. Bring your knees back to the floor, push to table pose, and turn the toes under. Now breathe in, press down with your hands as you lift your hips high, and with the knees deeply bent, exhale and push your hips back over your heels, bringing your head between your arms. Steady breathing. Inhale, step your right foot between your hands. You can haul it up there if necessary. Straightening your left knee, open and lift your chest, gazing forward. Steady breathing, mouth closed. Inhale, step your left foot forward and exhale to relaxed, standing forward bend. Bend your knees if your back or hamstrings hurt, and rest. Place your fingertips on the floor and breathe in, opening the chest and looking forward. Breathe out, bend your elbows, pulling your belly toward your thighs. Relax your neck. Breathe in, raise the chest as you sweep your arms overhead, standing upright. Lower your hands to your chest. Namaste. Notice your breathing. Steady ocean sound. Steady exhalation. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, join your palms, gaze between the hands. Breathe in, hinge from the hips, and with a flat back, sweep forward and down. Exhale into a relaxed, standing forward bend. Bend your knees and place the palms on the floor about shoulder width. Inhale, lift the chest and step your right foot back to a lunge. Pull your upper right thigh muscle toward the bone to help lengthen and extend the back leg all the way to your heel. Press down through your hands and open the chest as you breathe in and step your left foot beside the right. Breathe out, bringing your knees to the floor to table pose. Let's turn things up a notch. Press down with your hands and feet and breathe in, lift your knees, raising your hips just to the level of your shoulders, and breathing out, straighten your knees. This is plank pose. If you can't straighten your knees without your hips rising higher than your shoulders, simply step your feet back. Steady breathing. Come back down to your knees. Keep your arms straight and turn your inner elbows forward, rolling your collarbones up. Keep your back flat and gazing forward. Breathe in. Straight body comes forward. Breathe out. Bend your elbows to yoga push-up with the knees on the floor. Inhale, swing your chest through your arms, push your elbows forward and roll over your toes to upward facing dog pose. Ground your feet and straighten your knees. Steady breathing. Breathe in, the chest expands. Support your lower back in this back bend by breathing out and drawing your lower abdomen in. Breathe in as you push down with your hands and lift your hips. Roll over your toes to downward facing dog pose. Feet hip-width apart and parallel. Bend your knees deeply, press your palms down, and push your torso toward your hips. Position your head between your upper arms. Keep your shoulder blades wide by rolling your outer arms down, straight elbows. Use a full breath out to extend your heels toward the floor, moving your inner thighs into the space behind you and straightening your knees. Inhale, step your right foot forward. Exhale to a lunge. Pull your front left thigh into the bone, lengthening the left leg toward the heel. Open your chest and roll your collarbones up. Is the sound of the breath still steady inside? Inhale, step forward with your left foot. Exhale, straightening your knees. Relaxed, standing forward bend. Just let your torso hang. Place your fingertips on the floor as you inhale, lifting the chest. Look forward. Exhale, bend your elbows, pulling your belly to your thighs. Relax your neck. Breathe in, lift the chest, sweep your arms overhead and stand upright. Join the palms, gaze between your hands. Inhale, release the arms. Exhale to mountain pose, palms together at the chest in Namaste. Steady your breathing. Concentrate on breathing out. One more cycle. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, join the palms, gaze at your hands. Inhale, hinge from the hips with a flat back, bend forward. Exhale, hang in relaxed, standing forward bend. Fingertips to the floor, bend your knees. Breathe in, lift the chest, and step your right foot back. Exhale to a lunge. Pull your upper thigh to the bone, lengthening the back of the leg to the heel. Open your chest and roll the collarbones up, dropping your shoulders away from your ears. Steady breathing. Press down with your hands as you breathe in and step your left foot back. Exhale to plank pose with the feet hip-width apart. Broaden your chest, collarbones up, shoulders over wrists, hips no higher than shoulders. Gently tuck the tail to draw the abdomen in. As you inhale, turn your inner elbows forward and taking your body, straight as a stick, several inches forward. Exhale, bend your elbows, lowering your body 2 inches from the floor, yoga push-up. Inhale, sweep the chest forward and up, roll over your toes to upward-facing dog pose, supporting your lower back by pulling the abdomen back and up. Breathe in, press down with your hands, push back through plank pose. Exhale, roll over your toes, downward-facing dog pose. Steady your breathing. Breath out as long as the breath in. Remember, you can consciously steady the sound of your out-breath to help steady your whole body. Your shoulder blades are broad, arms actively press into the floor to push your hips back over your heels. Ears between the arms. Breathe in, step your right foot forward. Breathe out to your lunge. Pull your upper left thigh to the bone to lengthen the back of the leg. Radiate open from the core of your chest and lift your collarbones looking forward. Step forward with your left foot as you breathe in, and breathing out, straighten your knees into relaxed, standing forward bend. This is a resting pose. Slow your breathing down. Restore equilibrium. Bend your knees, place your fingertips on the floor, and as you inhale, lift your chest and roll your collarbones up. Breathe out, bending your elbows, pull your belly and perhaps your lower ribs toward your thighs, relaxing your neck. Breathe in, lift the chest, sweep the arms overhead. Breathe out, palms together, gaze between your hands. Inhale, lower your arms. Exhale, mountain pose with your arms at your sides. Stand in mountain pose at the end of your mat. Turn and step your feet wide, arms at shoulder height. Position your ankles below your wrists, shortening your stance if your knees hurt. Hold your hips and focus on your breathing. Mouth closed, confident, steady pace. A distinctive ocean-like sound in the base of your throat. Pivot your right leg out so your knee and toes face the end of the mat, turning your left foot and hips slightly to the right, lining your heels up with each other. Coordinating movement with breath, breathe in, sliding your right hip toward your left leg as you bend your knee to a right angle, knee over ankle. Breathe out, bring your right arm inside the knee, fingers on the floor, pressing your arm against your knee. Steady breathing. Inhale, outer left foot down as you lift your chest. Exhale, pull your left ribs back, slightly tucking your tailbone, turning your head to gaze up. If your neck hurts, simply gaze ahead. Inhale, ground the outer back foot and extend your left arm to the ceiling, palm forward, side angle pose. Place your left hand on your hip, breathe in, lengthen your outer right hip away from your waist to straighten your right knee, placing your right hand beside your outer right foot or on your leg, triangle pose. Inhale, root the right big toe and left heel as you raise your chest. Exhale, pull your left ribs back, turning your head, feel your spine spiral to the left. Extend your left arm to the ceiling. Each breath in expands the body. Each breath out polishes your pose. Inhale, turn toward the floor, placing your hands on each side of the foot. Step the back foot slightly forward, turning the leg in more, anchoring your outer back heel firmly to the floor. Level your hips by pushing your right hip away from the right ribs and lifting it slightly. Steady breathing, calm belly. Inhale, ground the outer left heel and right big toe as you raise your chest, moving your shoulders away from your ears. Lift the collarbones, letting them shine forward parallel to the floor as though they're headlights. Gaze at the front foot. Side stretch. Place your left hand beside your right foot and your right hand on your hip for revolved triangle pose. Stabilize your balance, right big toe and left heel firmly anchored, calm belly, steady exhalations. Breathe in, press your left hand down, the chest lifts. Breathe out, extend your right arm to the ceiling, pulling your right ribs up and back, feeling your body turn. Remember, left heel down, right hip away from the waist. Slowly begin to rotate your head to the right, to deepen the spinal twist further. Steady breathing. Inhale, turn toward the floor. Place your hands, shoulder width apart, on each side of the foot. Bend your right knee and step to downward facing dog pose. Feet hip width apart, wide shoulder blades. Press your hands into the mat to push the hips back, stretching your spine from head to tail. Exhale, move your inner thighs into the space behind you. Breathe in, step your right foot between your hands to a lunge, turning your left heel slightly toward the center of the mat and root it firmly to the floor. Right knee over ankle, right angle bend in the front leg. Navel, knee, and toes face the end of the mat. Breathe in, sweep the arms forward as you bring your torso up. Breathe out, warrior one. Ground your outer back foot as you lift your chest toward your chin. Breathe out, left side ribs forward, inner arms sweep back past the ears. Keeping your knee bent and facing the toes, turn your left thigh out and turn your torso to the left, sweeping your arms wide, hands above feet. Warrior pose 2. Check your alignment. Knee over ankle, knee facing in the direction of the toes. Gently curl your tailbone and relax your shoulders. Gaze to the right hand, but strongly extend your left. Breathe in, straighten your knee. Turn your feet parallel and lace your fingers together behind your back, palms facing each other. Breathe in, stretch your arms back and up, lifting the chest, head over shoulders, and bending forward from the hips. Breathe out, relax down, stretching your arms over your back toward the floor. Expanded leg, forward bend. Don't lock your elbows. You'll get a much richer experience in the shoulders if you keep them slightly bent. Release your arms, placing your palms on the floor below your shoulders. Straighten your elbows, looking up with your heart. Inhale, bend your knees, press down with your hands, and jump your feet, hip width apart. Exhale to standing forward bend, hands in the crooks of your elbows. Relax. Bend your knees if you need to. This passive pose assists easy breathing and rests the heart. The inverted nature of this forward bend especially helps exhalation, inviting the diaphragm to relax chestward. Slow the pace of your breathing down by focusing on the steady sound that each breath out makes. Remember, yoga is as much about undoing as doing. Cultivate mental clarity and inner calm. That steadiness supports even the most challenging asana. Inhale, standing up. Exhale into mountain pose. Stepping your feet wide, arms at shoulder height. Again, ankles below wrists, adjusting your stance if necessary. Hold your hips. Pivot the left foot out and the right leg and hips in. Heels line up with each other. Straight knees. Breathe in. Lengthen your outer left hip away from the waist as you bend your left knee. Breathe out. Left arm inside the knee, fingers to the floor. Look at your alignment. Knee over ankle, right angle, knee and toes face the end of the mat. Press your arm against the inner knee to help maintain the leg's position. Breathe in, root the outer back heel and lift the chest. Breathe out, pulling your ribs back, tailbone slightly forward, and rotating your head to initiate the spiral that turns your whole spine. If your neck hurts, simply gaze straight ahead. Inhale, ground the back leg and extend your right arm to the ceiling, palm forward. Side angle pose. Turn toward the floor, placing your left hand by your outer left foot, right hand on the hip. Inhale, pull your left hip back to straighten your left knee. Triangle pose. Steady breathing. Root your back foot and lift your chest, breathing in. Breathing out, pull your right ribs back, spiraling head and navel toward the ceiling. Extend your right arm up. Your body expands like a sponge when you breathe in. Energy rushes through your veins as you breathe out. Turning toward the floor, bring your hands down, one on each side of the foot, stepping your right foot slightly forward and turning the leg in a bit more. Side stretch pose. Keep your right outer heel and left big toe securely anchored as you move your left hip away from your ribs to bring your hips side by side. Level them. Breathe in, lifting and opening your heart. Exhale, collarbones shine forward like headlights. Gaze at your foot. Place your right fingers by your left big toe, left hand on left hip. Steady breathing. Inhale, press down with your outer right foot, left big toe, and right hand to lift your chest. Strong out-breath stabilizes your stance. Breathe in, extend your left arm toward the ceiling, letting the action of the arms turn your body to the left. Left hip away from the waist. Revolve triangle pose. Slowly turn your head to gaze at your left hand. Don't sacrifice your stability. Standing poses establish a connection to the earth. Don't allow an overambitious twist to uproot you. Inhale, release the pose, bringing your hands back to the floor on each side of your foot. Exhale, step to downward facing dog pose, ears between the arms, smooth, steady breath. Transfer your weight from the heel of the hand to the base of your fingers and pull your forearms toward your elbows to open the wrists, reducing strain on that vulnerable joint. Broad shoulder blades. Roll your outer arms toward the floor. Inner thighs into the space behind your legs. Inhale, stepping your left foot forward, left knee over ankle, right angle bend. Turn your right heel slightly in and root it to the floor. Inhale, sweeping your arms overhead, bringing your torso upright. Exhale, warrior one. Steady breathing in this challenging pose. Inhale, ground the back foot, open and lift your chest. Exhale, inner arms back, right side ribs forward. Keep your knee bent as you turn your right thigh out, and turning your torso to the right, sweep your arms to shoulder height over your feet. Warrior two. Check your alignment. Knee over ankle, knee facing toes, back leg straight, back foot rooted. Gaze at your left hand. Strongly extend your right arm. Inhale, straighten your right leg, turn your feet forward, hold your hips, and step your right foot to your left and turn to mountain pose at the end of your mat. Direct your gaze forward and down, bringing your weight to your left leg. Steady breathing. Breathe in, bend the right knee and raise the leg, holding your big toe with your index and middle fingers. Stretch your left arm out at shoulder height. Keep your gaze and your breath steady. Pull your left upper thigh toward the bone and lift the chest to make your body tall. Hug your right arm with your knee, rolling your outer right hip away from the waist. Breathe in, straighten your right leg halfway. Pause. Steady breathing. Upper left leg back, chest up. Breathe in. Begin to straighten the right leg more. Exhale, straighten it as far as you can without compromising the height in the left leg and spine. Hand to big toe pose. Breathe in, bend the knee, place the right foot on the floor, and return to mountain pose. Root the right leg and lift the chest. Pull your upper right thigh muscle into the bone. Do you feel how tall you get? Inhale, bend the left knee, hold the big toe, extending your right arm out at shoulder height. Lengthen your outer left hip away from the waist, pressing your left knee into the arm to center it. Breathe in, straighten your left leg halfway. Check your height, upper right thigh into the bone, chest lifting, breath steady. Inhale, slowly straighten your leg to a point where you can still maintain height in your spine, and pull your right thigh into the bone. Breathe in, bend the knee. Breathe out, mountain pose. Hinge from the hips, bend forward and down. Place your palms on the floor and bend your knees. Inhale, step your right foot back to a lunge. Step your left foot back, plank pose. Collarbones roll up, flat back. Inhale, turn your inner arms forward. Shift your body forward, and exhale, yoga push-up, body like a stick, 2 inches from the floor. Breathe in, chest sweeps forward and up. Roll over the toes to upward-facing dog pose. Inhale, push through plank pose as you roll over your toes. Exhale, downward-facing dog pose. Rest on your knees, cross your ankles, and place your hands on the floor by your thighs. Press down with your hands and feet to lift your hips and knees toward the torso. Pendant pose. Inhale, pull the navel into the spine and pull your feet off the floor as close to your hips as possible. Swing your body forward and sit down. Simple seated position. Lie face down on your mat, extending your right arm out in front of you, and roll onto your right side, placing your left hand on the floor in front of your chest. Bend your elbow, resting your head on your hand, and look down the length of your body, lining yourself up as though on a fence rail, a straight line from right elbow to ankle. Once you've checked your alignment, bring your head back onto the same line as the rest of your body. Steady your breathing. Flex your toes, pressing the inner big toe joints together, and lengthen your tailbone away from your waist, curling it slightly forward toward the front hips, while at the same time drawing your uppermost inner thigh slightly back into the space behind you. These two movements basically cancel each other out, but it stabilizes your hips, and you may feel the action engaging muscles deep in your abdomen. This inner firmness stabilizes your lower back as well, allowing you to now bring your left arm alongside your body, extending your fingers toward your feet. This delicate balance, Vishnu's couch, can disturb your breathing, making it tentative, nervous. Steady yourself with the gentle balance of the tailbone and inner thighs coming together as though pulled together by magnets, as well as a steady out-breath. Slide your right arm behind your head, turning your head to the left, gazing at your hand. Correct your position if you've rolled back onto your buttocks. The balance in this pose is on the round bone of your outer hip. Again, stabilize your pose with your exhalation. Breathe in as you release and rolling to the other side. Stretch your left arm forward. Bend the elbow, resting your head on your hand. Look down the length of your body, lining yourself up as though on a fence rail, Straight line from elbow to ankle. Keep your right hand on the floor until you establish your balance. And make this as delicate a balance as possible. Again, lengthen the tailbone away from the waist, curling it gently forward. Inner thighs gently back, forming a firm base that stabilizes your hips and lower spine. Bring your right arm alongside your body, extending your fingers toward your feet. Again, notice how instability makes your breathing nervous. Find your inner calm with a steady out-breath. Slide your hand behind your head, turning your head to the right and gazing at your fingers. Don't try to make this pose easy. Learn to balance as though on a tightrope. Inhale, turn toward the floor, placing your hands palms down by your ribs, and turn your toes under. Bring your elbows in, and again, strong action, tailbone away from the waist curling forward, inner thighs back to stabilize your core, this time flattening the back. Curl your collarbones up. Check, flat back. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, push strongly down with your hands and feet, pushing your elbows forward, straightening your arms, and lifting your torso straight and solid as a stick to plank pose. Steady breathing. Push to downward facing dog pose. Come back to plank pose. Turning your right leg in, press your outer right foot into the floor and try to root the big toe joint as well. Come forward until your shoulder is almost over your wrist, so your arm is angled slightly forward. Bring your left hand to your hip, and for the moment, keep your left toes on the floor. Adjust the distance between your hand and foot so that your hips are no higher than your shoulders. In fact, as you now inhale and press down with your right hand, you'll lift your chest higher than your hips. Again, press down with your right hand and big toe, chest lifts, tailbone forward, inner thighs back, stable spine. Extend your left arm up to the ceiling, palm forward, gazing straight ahead. Steady your breathing. Feel your core support. Now bring your left leg alongside your right. Steady breathing. Turning your head slowly, gaze at your left hand. Concentrate. Come smoothly out of your pose. Inhale, release. Exhale to plank pose, turning to the left. Press the outer left foot into the floor and try to ground the big toe joint. Keeping your right foot on the floor for the moment, right hand on your hip, measure your stance. Enough distance between your hand and foot that your chest will be higher than your hips. Inhale, press strongly down with your hand, lift your chest. Exhale, tailbone forward, inner thighs back. Strongly ground your left arm and foot, extending your right arm to the ceiling, gazing straight ahead. Now bring your right leg alongside your left. Stable back. Inhale, begin to turn your head, gazing up at your hand. Concentrate. Inhale, release, exhale, back to plank pose. Come down to your knees, swing your feet to the side, and lie down on your back with your feet flat on the floor, hip-width apart. Join your hands behind your head, widen your shoulder blades, and bring your elbows to the floor. Press your head ever so slightly against your hands. Don't overdo it. You don't want to compress your neck or have your chin jut up. Imagine for a moment lines of movement running from your side ribs, down, crossing at your navel, and anchoring deep in the inner hips. Pinning both your sit bones and lower back to the floor. Keeping your upper body in its fixed position, head in hands, shoulder blades and elbows wide, head pressed gently back. Inhale, lift the chest to pull your upper body off the floor. Exhale, pull your navel to your spine, and as though someone is pulling your side ribs, rise a little higher. Release, coming all the way to the floor, and relax for a moment. Again, head in hands, shoulder blades and elbows wide. Feel as though strings are attached to your side ribs. Inhale, chest rises, pulling you off the floor. Exhale, side ribs pull you up, navel pressing into the backbone. Don't use your arms. Can you pull one more set of ribs off the floor using your side ribs? Down you come to rest. Now turn onto your side and sit up. Place your feet on the floor about hip-width apart in front of you and hold the backs of your knees. Lengthen your spine from the pelvic floor to the crown of the head. Move your front hips away from your navel to pull your lower back toward the front body. Shifting your weight back as little as possible, take your feet off the floor. Rolling your front hip bones down to the floor, raise your feet to the level of your knees. Pushing your navel towards your legs. A surge of energy like a laser from the pelvic floor to the heart. Inhale, straighten your knees as much as you can. Exhale, push the navel towards the legs. If you lose this core lift, bend your knees again slightly. Now breathe in and slowly let go of your knees. Exhale, extend your arms straight forward, palms face each other. One good breath. Breathe in, chest open and lifting. Breathe out, navel pushing towards the legs. Bend your knees, feet to the floor. Join your hands behind your head, elbows wide, and gently round your back. Navel hugging the backbone. Heart open, elbows wide. Slowly lower yourself, breath by breath. Breathe in, you pause. Breathe out, your navel pushes you a little lower until your shoulders are as close to knee level as possible. From that position, inhale, raise your feet to knee level. Exhale, straighten your feet to eye level. Steady breathing, one strong breath. Inhale, feet to the floor. Exhale, navel to legs. Release your arms and swing your feet to the side, coming up to a simple squat. Place your feet hip-width apart, arms between your legs, palms down. Come up onto the balls of your toes, hips resting on the heels if possible. Bring your arms between your legs, palms down on the floor. Now breathe in, pulling your inner thighs up to the side ribs and your knees to your shoulders. Breathe out. Suck your navel into your backbone, rounding your back and raising your hips to knee level. Once again, inhale, pulling your inner thighs to your side ribs and knees to shoulders. Exhale, suck your navel to your spine, rounding your back. Hips at knee level, no higher. Come down to rest. Knees on the floor. Or even child pose. Let's do that again. Come up onto the balls of your toes, arms between your legs, palms down. Breathe in, pull your inner thighs to your ribs, knees to shoulders. Stare at the floor. Breathe out, suck your navel to your backbone, rounding your back and raising your hips to the level of the knees, no higher. Breathe in, inner thighs up, raise your arms to shoulder height, extending them forward. Breathe out, suck the navel into your backbone, rounding your back. Release, knees to the floor or child pose. Onto your toes again. Arms between your legs. Drop your shoulders, bringing one upper arm and then the other under your upper shins. Place your hands mat-width apart, elbows no wider than your hands. And press your arms into the shins to lift your chest and shoulders up again. Don't lean over. And again, breathe in, pull your inner thighs to your side ribs. Breathe out, suck your navel to your spine, rounding your back and raising your hips to knee level. Don't lean over. Keep your chest lifting, gaze forward. Breathe in, push off from your feet and push your elbows forward, scooping your chest up, bringing it forward. Exhale, navel to backbone. Breathe in, straightening your elbows. They're over your fingers now as your navel sucks into your back. Now pull your feet up into your hips. You're in Bakasana, crane pose. Elbows straight, chest forward and up, steady breathing. Breathe in, bend your elbows, feet back on the floor. Rest on your knees and come to child pose. Lie face down on your mat with a blanket under you for extra padding if you need it. Rest your forehead on your hands, feet slightly wider than hip width, toes facing the end of the mat. Crocodile pose. Steady breathing, root your feet and lift your hips slightly to roll your inner thighs towards each other. Then press your tailbone down, hips to floor, maintaining the slight lift of the inner thighs that leaves the front hips or groins hollow. This action helps establish core abdominal support, critical for your lower back in back bending poses. With your forehead on your hands, inhale, raising both legs, straight knees, as the tailbone continues to press down. Exhale, extend your legs, lifting the uppermost inner thighs and pressing the balls of the feet into the space behind you. Locust pose. Steady breathing. Inhale, legs up. Exhale, legs extend into the space behind you. Continue to root your tailbone. Lower the legs and rest. Steady breathing. Smooth and lengthen your exhalations. Extend your arms forward, slightly wider than shoulder width, and palms on floor. Inhale, curl your chest and collarbones up. Look at the hands. Exhale, pull the lower abdomen back. Breathe in, lift the chest again. Breathe out, belly back and up, and raise your arms and legs. Breathe in, chest up. Exhale, strongly lift the inner arms and thighs. raising them higher and gazing between the hands. Steady breathing. Come down, hands on your forehead, and rest. Slow your exhalations. Be calm. Now, root your tailbone and slowly bend your knees to bring your heels above your knees. Did your rear end pop up? You've got to fix that or your lower back will compress. So lower your legs and let's try it again. Consciously press the tailbone down. Try not to squeeze your buttocks. Lengthen your hamstrings and breathe in. Lift the inner thighs, tailbone presses down to bring your heels above your knees. Is that better? Flex your feet slightly, forehead down. Now bring your arms to your sides, resting them palms up. With your forehead down, press the backs of your hands into the floor, but roll your collarbones up. Continue to root your tail and breathing in, lift your knees a couple of inches off the floor. Roll the inner thighs up while the tailbone continues to press strongly down. Don't tighten your throat or neck. Steady breath. Lower your knees, lower your feet, and relax. Plant your tailbone. Roll the inner thighs up. Bend your knees again, feet over knees. Now raise your arms about 6 inches off the floor, keeping them at your sides, palms up. Breathe in, expand and lift your chest, collarbones rolling up, inner arms lifting. Breathe out, extend your arms toward your legs, pulling your shoulders away from your ears, gaze forward and down. Breathe in, chest up. Breathe out, arms extend towards the legs, pulling the shoulders away from the ears. Tuck your tailbone. Release, rest face down, lower your feet, and relax. Slow down your breathing. Exhale. Remember, back bends are energizing, not agitating. Now put the two previous poses together. Plant your tailbone, bend your knees, feet over knees. Raise your arms about 6 inches off the floor, palms up. Inhale, heart and collarbones rise. Exhale, arms extend past the legs. Breathe in, heart and collarbones lift. Exhale, arms extend towards the legs, pull your lower abdomen back and up, and lift your knees a couple of inches off the floor. Strong breathing, chest up, arms back, gaze forward, locust pose. Release. Rest face down on your mat again. Slow your breathing down. Root your tailbone and bend your knees again. Reach back and hold your feet with your hands. Let your head hang. Now press your feet strongly into your hands. Do you feel how that action pulls your collarbones and chest off the floor? So remember to use your legs. Breathe in, legs pull the arms and the chest rises like a balloon, collarbones rolling up, head still hanging. Breathe out, pull your lower abdomen back and up toward the heart for support and lift. This is a version of Cobra pose. Steady breathing. Release. Slow your breathing. Elongate your exhalation. Again, tail down, bend your knees, hold your feet, and let your head hang. By dropping your head, you avoid crunching your neck, thus allowing your upper spine to engage in the back bend more deeply. Your lower back will thank you. Breathe in, legs pull your arms as your chest floats up, head down. Breathe out, pull your lower abdomen back and up, and the legs keep pulling on the arms. Knees are on the floor. Each breath in, chest up. Each breath out, belly back, pulling on the arms. Head hanging. Shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, release, down you come, and relax again. And your breath will tell you if you're calm and steady inside. If not, slow your breathing down and don't continue to your next back bend until you're able to maintain a steady, rhythmic pace to your breath. And each breath out is long and comfortable. One more time. Bow pose. Hold the tops of your feet, knees and feet slightly wider than your hips, head hanging. Pull your arms and feel your inner arms lifting slightly, your collarbones rolling up. Tuck your tailbone. Now breathe in, the chest expands and lifts. Breathe out, lower abdomen back and up. Inhale again, chest up, legs pull arms. Breathe out, belly back and up, and raise your legs, feet higher than the head, inner thighs lifting. Breathe in, chest open, bring your head over your shoulders, shoulders away from your ears, gazing forward and down. Be strong and steady. Inhale, release. Return to crocodile pose. Head on hands, feet on floor. Relax. If your lower back is uncomfortable, strongly squeeze your buttocks together. Tuck your tail. Release, and repeat that several times. Squeeze the buttocks, tuck your tail, and release. If that doesn't alleviate the discomfort in your lower back, don't continue practicing back bends, and instead move to child pose. Cobra pose. Place your palms under your shoulders, fingers facing forward, elbows in, forehead down, feet a little wider than the hips. Root your feet and tail and straighten your knees. As you inhale, expand and lift your chest. Exhale back to the floor again. Again, inhale, the chest expands like a balloon and rises up. Exhale, press your hands into the floor, pushing your collarbones up and back a bit. And lower back down to the floor. Pump yourself up to Cobra pose. Inhale, chest expands and lifts. Exhale, press down, pushing your shoulders up and back towards your feet. Release back to the floor again. Each time, the shoulders pull the elbows a little straighter. Again, inhale, chest inflates and lifts. Exhale, press down, pull your lower abdomen back, and roll your shoulders towards your feet, gazing forward and down toward the floor. Can your shoulders move toward your feet so much that your elbows are pulled straight? Heart lifts. Gaze forward, long neck. Inhale, release. Exhale to the floor again. Slow your breathing. Again, cobra pose. Root your feet, tuck your tail, inner thighs lifting. Your thighs stay on the floor. Hands under your shoulders, fingers forward, elbows in. Breathe in, expand and lift your chest, roll your collarbones up. Breathe out, press down, pushing your shoulders back towards your feet and drawing your abdomen in and up. Now turn your toes under, and as though your heart is on a string, breathe in and push off from your feet, elbows forward, straightening your arms. Your heart is pulled forward and you roll over your toes, shoulders over feet, upward facing dog pose. Steady, strong breathing. Drop your head back, pressing it between your shoulder blades. Each breath in, the heart opens. Widen your collarbones and feel as though they can see your feet over the tops of your shoulders. Knees straight, inner thighs lifting, tailbone tucked. Bring your knees to the floor. Breathe in, push your hips back and up, roll over your toes, and breathing out, downward facing dog pose. Stretching your lower back as long as possible. Lift onto the balls of your toes, sit bones high, push your hips back over your heels, and stretch your spine as long as possible. A nice counter pose to your back bending. Breathe in, come to your knees, feet together, tops of the feet on the floor. Separate your knees wider than your ribs and sit on your heels. Lean forward, stretch your arms forward, and rest your head on the floor. Sit on a folded blanket with the soles of your feet together and your knees apart in cobbler's pose. Place your hands behind you on the floor and pressing your hands down, roll your weight forward to the front of your sit bones. Those are the bottom of your hip bones and you can feel them pressing into the blanket. It will feel as though you're pushing your navel forward. Lift your chest and flatten your back. It can be hard to tell if your back is flat. With one hand, feel your lower back. No bones should protrude. If they do, I suggest you keep your hands behind your back for the duration of this pose. Otherwise, place your hands on the floor ahead of you and hinging from your hips, fold forward, pouring your navel toward your feet as you walk your hands slowly forward. When you've walked your hands as far forward as you can with a flat back, pause, slightly round your back. Be very conservative with this action. The goal is not to get your head on the floor, but rather to rest your belly on your feet. If you can go further, you can rest your elbows on the floor, walking your elbows away from your feet. Keep your head at shoulder height. Close your eyes and breathe. Feel the steady rhythm. Imagine you can breathe right where you feel resistance in the muscles of your inner thigh. That gentle massage, together with time and consistent practice, will gradually restore movement to your hips. If your belly is touching your feet, rest your head on the floor. Walk your hands to your feet and stretch your right leg straight forward. Place your left foot along the inside of your right thigh, supporting your knee on a block if it's uncomfortable. With your right hand on the floor by your knee, breathe in and reach forward with your left arm to hold the outside of your right leg or foot. Lift your torso away from your leg to straighten your elbow and flatten your back. Breathe in as you slide your right arm back and up behind you. Exhale, extend your arm, turning your head, heart, and belly to the right. Steady breathing. Keep your right leg active, pressing the big toe joint forward. Breathe steadily. Inhale as you release. Feet together in cobbler's pose. Stretch your left leg forward, centering the weight on the left heel, and placing your right foot against the inner left thigh. Block under the knee if necessary. Place your left hand on the floor by your knee, and breathing in, reach forward with your right arm, holding your outer left leg or foot. Breathe in, raising the torso to straighten the elbow. Inhale again, opening the core of your chest and rolling your collarbones up as you take your left arm back. Breathe out, extend your left arm strongly behind you, spinning your head, heart, and belly toward the left arm. Keep breathing steadily as you twist. If your breath is strained, the muscles along your spine will tighten. Feel your whole body move with the breath. It's like a massage. Inhale as you release, and exhaling, stretch your legs wide apart for wide angle pose. You may be able to increase the distance between your feet by pressing your hands down, lifting your hips up, and swinging them forward. Place your hands behind you on the floor. Your spine is upright, not rounded or overarched. Press your hands down to push the navel forward. If you struggle to keep your spine upright, keep your hands on the floor behind you. I practiced this pose with my hands behind my back for 3 years, so don't fret. But if you're comfortable, hands on the floor in front. The weight is centered on the heels. If your inner thighs hurt, bring your feet a little closer together. Breathe in, hinging from the hips. Walk your hands further forward, resting on your elbows if you can, but continue to emphasize length in your spine. Don't be in a hurry to bring your head to the floor. In fact, keep your head at shoulder height. When the tension in your inner thighs becomes intense, your body is asking you to stop. Please listen. Close your eyes, letting your breath and concentration help your body to gradually adapt to this edge of your range of motion. This is where the real yoga occurs. To go further is aggressive. To back off is, well, backing off. You stay right at this edge. Listen, feel. Allow your body to remember that it can bend as deeply as you want. It sounds cliched, but the joy really is in the journey. Putting your head on the floor will happen, but many insights will come along the way if you listen. Walk your hands toward your hips and bend your left knee, bringing your left heel as close to the back of the left thigh as you can. Transfer your weight to your right hip. Your left hip will actually lift off the floor a bit. You may need to prop your left hip up. Bring your hands to each side of your right leg for revolved head-to-knee pose. Palm up, slip your right thumb between your big and second toe. Place your left hand on your inner left knee, and with a strong out-breath, Push the right big toe and left knee away from one another. Breathe in, lengthening your outer right hip away from the waist. And breathing out, revolve your head, heart, and belly to the left, extending your left arm from your shoulder, palm forward. Each breath in, lengthen your outer right hip away from the waist and lift your heart. Each breath out, spin your belly, heart, and head, pulling your left ribs back. To take this pose deeper, rest your right elbow on your leg or even the floor inside your lower leg. Continue to lift your chest with each breath in and deepen the twist as you exhale. Breathe in and release. Exhale, extend your left leg to the side again, bending your right knee, pulling your heel into the back of the right leg, and propping your right hip on a blanket if you need it. Hands on each side of the leg, tip your hips slightly to the left. Your right hip will be off the floor or on the prop. Palm up, slide your left thumb between your big and second toe. Right hand to right knee, and with a strong out breath, press your big toe and knee away from each other. Breathe in and lengthen your left hip away from your waist. Breathing out, spin your head, heart, and belly to the right as you extend your right arm from the shoulder, palm forward. Steady breathing. Each breath in, open the chest, lengthening your outer left hip away from the waist. Each breath out, polish the movements of the pose, turning your head, heart, and belly, pulling your right ribs back. Perhaps deepening the pose by resting your elbow on your leg or the floor, chest high. Steady breathing. Back away from the twist if your breathing is strained. Inhale as you release, and exhale, bring the soles of your feet together. Center your blanket under your hips again, and stretch your legs straight out in front of you. Staff pose. Separate your feet hip-width apart. Press your hands into the floor behind your back and sit tall. Long, fluid spine. Be aware of the ground under your sit bones, the space above the crown of your head. If you're sitting comfortably, join your hands in Namaste, prayer position at the chest. Steady breathing. Each breath in, the heart lifts. Each breath out, roll your front hip bones away from the navel toward the floor. Breathe in, reach forward with your arms to hold your ankles or outer feet. If your chest collapses, loop a belt around your feet. Breathe in, lifting your torso away from your legs to straighten your elbows. Breathe out, push your sit bones back into the blanket behind you. Steady breathing. Each breath in, the chest lifts. Each breath out, sitting bones move back. Perhaps you can feel how this rotates your pelvis forward. Your goal is to rest your belly on your inner thighs. After that, the ribs, one by one, lay themselves on your legs. A long process. Savor the journey. Close your eyes. Feel your breath. Forward bends are naturally tranquil, calming and cooling the nerves. Your breath reflects the quietness of the nervous system, slowing down. You can place a block or blanket roll on your shins, resting your forehead, to experience the deep comfort of this pose. Inhale as you sit upright. Move your blankets away. Swinging your feet under your hips, sit on your heels in thunderbolt or diamond pose. If you need to rest your hips on a block, that's fine. Easy breathing, tall spine, the core of the chest comfortably spacious, and your shoulders relaxed. Inhale, bending forward from the hips. Rest your head on your hands, elbows on the floor. Or if you're sitting firmly on your heels, rest your head on the floor and relax your arms at your sides. Relaxation pose. Relaxation pose. Lie on your back with your legs outstretched and relaxed. With your legs outstretched, your arms relaxed. 6 to 8 inches away from the sides of your body, palms up, and your head on the floor or a folded blanket about 6 inches away from your side body. If your lower back is uncomfortable, roll up a blanket underneath your knees. If you wish to place a folded blanket under your head to relax the neck, now close your eyes. That's fine. And close your eyes. And turn your attention once more to your breathing. Relax your breathing. Now feeling your breath, and let your body a gentle fall inner rhythm. The floor. It's soothing, like rain on the roof. Your muscles may hold on to tension, coaxing your body that resists such a free-falling feeling. Feel your whole body sink into the floor. You can practice letting go of tension in this way. Imagine that you're lying on the beach. Now flex and tighten your feet, holding that for a couple of breaths. And the heaviest parts of you, now let them go. Sink, leaving deep impressions, that sensation of like footprints. Letting go. Do that again. The back of the skull, heavy, sinking into soft sand. You can even feel it tightens your lower leg. Now let it go. The shoulders. What does that feel like? Heavy. Sink. Now tighten your thighs. The floor seems soft behind your shoulders. That strong sensation of effort is easy to feel. Let it go. Let your lower back ribs relax. The sense of release contrasts with the strong effort of tightening the thighs, but letting them hang again, like garlands. Tighten the thighs. Feel the effort. Do you feel the body shrinks? Your belly organs sink back. Now let it go. And feel the body expand. The backs of your legs. Now tighten your buttocks. Your calves. Leave deep impressions in the wet sand and let it go. And your heels and the backs of your hips relax. Heavy. You may have an urge to falling. Lengthen your back a little bit. Your whole front body, and do that again, sinks into the back. Squeeze the buttocks together. Feel that tension and let it go. Your face into the back brain. Tight muscles have simply forgotten how to relax, and you're reminding them now. Soothing,
Tighten the
rhythmic
chest.
breath. It may feel familiar, coaxing you to release more. Feel your back body spread out on the floor. Habitual tensions can
isolate
creep
that to
back
the shoulders.
unnoticed.
Tighten the shoulders. And
take
let
your
it go.
attention to a common place where you know you hold tension.
Do that again.
Back of the neck, perhaps.
Tighten the shoulders. Feel that go right
Lower
up into
back.
your neck.
Heart. Let
It's
them
very
drop.
uncomfortable, but you can let it go.
And as your body
you may now
falls,
be able to roll
becoming
your shoulders
heavy
away from your ears.
the inner
and be
body,
more relaxed
your
in your
subtle
neck.
body, is free. It's light
And then scrunch up your face
and radiates through your skin
and
like a
let it go.
gentle mist. Everything
Relax
comes to
all
this,
the expression lines
surrendering
from the
the
features
form,
of your face.
the flesh and bone body.
Feel your head grow heavier and heavier.
And freeing the subtle body.
And now feel your whole body
Remain aware of
completely
a
relaxed,
sense of inner space.
completely at peace on the floor.
Look around inside your body, and with that inner awareness, slowly begin to reopen your eyes.